All right, episode 22 Jump Street.
Is what we watched last night. Look, we missed a week because we turned 21 and we were out partying the whole time. We could drink in America for the first time.
Well,
so we just had to go out and do that.
Not me with my unvaccinated ass.
Oh, yeah,
Can't do
I had to
nothing in
do
this
all of it for
fucking city.
Alpha Mama.
Oh my god, we got some shit to talk about and we only have an hour, so we're gonna fucking power through. This is gonna be a highly potent episode. Strap the fuck in.
Strap in and get ready for a ride.
Oh man, I really think this is peaking, but you know what?
Just leave it. It's fine. But
fuck it.
stop hitting the mic every time.
I'm not hitting the mic. Okay.
So, the most recent thing that's going on in our lives is on Friday for me. I was getting a session with Natan Flo. Check him out on Instagram. He does like this acrobatic...
Acro yoga.
Acro yoga.
Flying.
Zen Tai, flying,
Shiatsu.
bodywork. You know, just an amalgamation of everything. And in it, I just got the message of just hand in termination for the lease, even though we haven't got a place. So then on Saturday or Sunday, I was like, hey, Alpha, Tim, are you keen to just do that and commit first, sort the rest later?
Yes. And we were like, fuck yeah, let's do it, because that's how we roll, bitch. You know, okay, a few things I want to talk about on that is like, firstly, how epic is sourcing your own knowing through bodywork? I swear to God, the most profound spiritual truths that I hold as my own gospel have come from bodywork sessions. You close your eyes, you let someone like, you know, throw you around a bit, and all of a sudden God's speaking to you.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful surrender piece. Like, I know you see Bruce, so like, and he also does that, right? And it's like just this piece of like closing your eyes and they're throwing you in the air and you don't know which direction you're facing, where you are in a room, like if they're going to drop you or not, but you just have to surrender.
Yep.
You know, to me, it's a similar-ish process to the funeral, like where you're buried and you just have to surrender to the process. It's like, it's beyond you, you know? And the more you surrender, the more you get out of it. Because there's times where I'm doing this bodywork session and I can like, I'm tensed in this area. I'm not fully surrendered, and like.
And sometimes you don't even realize you're holding tension until you know the Bruce will say something like, "Oh, just bring your awareness to your knees or your hips," or whatever, and all of a sudden, doof, you know, you drop into this level of relaxation, and you're like, "I had no clue that I was fucking tensing." Crazy.
So yeah, but then once you're fully surrendered, in my experience, is just things start coming through, and then eventually it goes to a point for me that it's like it goes beyond getting downloads. I'm like, oh, was I awake? Was I asleep? What was going on? I was in just a whole different field.
Yes, that's why, you know, the religion is fucking nervous system. Nervous system health is the religion.
So yeah, we're moving. So things will be shifting over the next 3 weeks. We'll be in moving mode, and then we'll be somewhere in the Northern Rivers.
The plan is get the fuck out of Sydney, figure it out later. And we've been, so I started calling moving vans and whatnot, and it looks like everyone is trying to leave Sydney or Melbourne. And everyone is trying to go to northern New South Wales or to Queensland. And let's face it, because it's fucking crazy what's happening right now. Do you see the protests in Melbourne? Apparently 100,000 people.
100,000 people yesterday protesting about what's going on, just going against the government, against all the restrictions.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It's wild, you know, like I haven't been to any of the protests, but yesterday I just had this moment where I was like, maybe that's where I'll find a boyfriend. I had that thought because I was like, the kind of man that could handle me and that could really fucking like have some staying power would 100% be a warrior and would be fighting for his freedom. I was like, that's kind of hot. Maybe I should go just to pick up.
So you have a sign saying single and I hate the government.
Oh my God, that's the title of this podcast.
I'm single and I hate the government. Done.
Oh my God, that is the new Tinder bio. Love it. Sliving. All right, so that's enough on that. We're moving.
Well, I feel like the protest does, in that numbers of people being in one space, does tie in well for Astroworld.
Oh, yeah. Good idea. Fuck.
So Travis Scott, who's one of the biggest artists,
who's a Kardashian husband.
Kardashian husband, singer-songwriter, you know, very well known for what album was it? Probably Ye, I think, of Kanye West. Like, he helped produce all of that, then has grown bigger and bigger to being like a megastar now. And he once a year does a festival called Astroworld at a theme park in Houston. There's a documentary on it last year or the year before about the process of making that and end up getting the key to the city. And yeah, does it once a year. And he's very known for his music where it's like, he brings the rage. That's the whole part of it. He encourages his fans to like go hard, and, you know, like usually has programmed the security to be like, you know, if they're moshing, they're doing it, and that's encouraged at my shows. Like that, we go hard in the paint, and then...
Yeah, so the devastating thing that happened at this particular festival was that there was a big rush toward the stage when he was about to get on, and apparently the venue had been over capacity anyway. It was over capacity. And a lot of people in that rush were crushed and trampled, and there were deaths. So I think at the moment the death toll is 8 confirmed, over 300 people injured, a lot more, you know, hospitalized. And, you know, so there's death, which is, of course, a fucking tragedy, you know, no matter how it happens. And a lot of the conversation has been about, well, who is responsible for this? Who is responsible? There were some people who were there who tried to inform, you know, like the cameraman, the security guards, like people are dying. Like they were literally fucking standing on a mass of bodies. You know, they were trying to give people CPR. No one knew how to fucking do CPR properly. There weren't enough emergency staff. The security guards weren't trained. Like there was so much miscommunication and poor communication strategies. You know, there was no strategy for handling a potential situation like this. And so, rightly so, people are asking questions, and people are questioning, like, what the fuck? And some extreme theories, you know, on the extreme end of the spectrum, people are saying that it was a satanic ritual sacrificing children because Travis Scott is Illuminati.
Yeah, true, fair enough.
So, you know, there's that too.
So that's the full stop. Travis Scott is Illuminati, everyone. Case closed. We're done.
Case closed, yeah.
We're done. Next topic.
I mean, there were some things that people found really offensive. One was that it took a while for him to respond publicly, and, you know, also, what's his girlfriend's name again?
Kylie Jenner.
Kylie Jenner, that's the one, yeah. She posted something, like basically people weren't happy with his response to the situation, and now he's getting sued by some of the families whose children died. Yeah. So the question, I guess, that, you know, we could look at and dive into is, well, how much responsibility does an artist have? How much responsibility does a celebrity have when it comes to caring for their audience and ensuring the safety of the people that come to see or engage with the music, with their work?
Yeah. Well, we all know I'm very passionate about, like...
Self-responsibility. If you mosh, you die.
You mosh, you die. It's a part of it. It's a part of it. Like, I've seen in so many moshes, people get really injured, people pass out, people have to get emergency services, and that's a part of it. I've fucking been smashed and trampled at festivals. And obviously, I don't want anyone to die. But to me, the biggest part of all of this is, like, one is, like, Travis Scott is just a brand, you know, among all of this, or among a festival. He doesn't, like, did he organize each security guard himself and the people filming? And the bigger thing at question for me is just this, like, craze over celebrities. Is you know, because that's people raging to get at the front, like pushing, get out of my way. You know, like it's like paparazzi, how they just like, they're not human anymore. They're this figure that you need to get as close to as possible. And
nobody knows that. The front of when you stand close to the stage, the sound is shit
the
anyway.
sound is shit.
Nobody knows that now.
Well, it depends on the stage design, but a lot of the time it's...
And you're looking up and your neck's fucked. Anyway.
But it's the closest. You get to the person. It does feel special. Like, I know I've been at concerts and whatnot. I'm like, oh my God, I'm right next to fucking Lil Wayne, or I'm next to fucking Nicki Minaj, or whoever it is. Like, oh my God, it's Alpha Mama.
I don't have that. I don't have that in me.
Yeah.
I don't fan out like that. Oh, like one time I got close to Erykah Badu, but I was just weirded out more than anything. Anyway, but yeah. So you think it's not his responsibility, basically?
Like, of course there's a slice of the pie, for sure. It's not just like no accountability to Travis Scott whatsoever. But, you know, like as I looked more, as all these articles, because there's that one and the video of the girl going up to the cameraman, and then the boy and the security are like, get off, you know, they're just doing a job. They don't, you know, they're probably not even registering the words that they're saying, because it's this big production. Don't fuck it up. I get paid so much for this. You know, like priorities are just in different places. And maybe if they actually heard, someone is dead, you're like being legit. Yeah, maybe. And it's this mentality, I imagine, of like, you're a kid, I'm an adult, shut up, I'm doing my job, you're drunk, on drugs, whatever, I don't care. You know, this disconnect between adults and children. And then also, like, so seeing this, everyone like, Travis Scott, you know, like it's Travis Scott's fault for everything, I think is stupid. And, you know, you don't see in any of these articles, I got one here from ABC, and like, you know, there's all his like responses and apologies and whatnot, but there's also like nowhere in here do I see the videos. There's videos out there of him being like, stop the show, someone's passed out, he stops mid-song, like, we need to get this person, someone grab this person, help lift him out. And I've seen him do it at so many festivals before.
Did you do it at this one? At this Astroworld?
At this one. There's video of him at Astroworld going, there's someone passed out, stop the show. You help him out, get him out, you know, like those are going around, but you don't see them in the articles because you don't want to show that this is a human that cares as well. And it's just these... Because
I heard that maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I don't have all the information, but I heard that he was notified, and because there was an ambulance that drove through the crowd, and he just continued playing the set and finished when he wanted to finish. So I don't know if that's the truth or not.
What, that he was notified that people were dead?
Well, that people were dying. Yeah, but I mean, who knows? The other thing is, like, when you're on stage...
Your adrenaline...
You are not in reality.
No, you're a whole... That's the thing I wanted to look at as well, is like, you know, I don't know how many people here have facilitated something, or like, you know, and I have not performed to hundreds of thousands of people, but I imagine when you're in that zone, especially if that's his festival, it led up to it, some big things, you know, he's debuting new singles, fucking Drake, and people are coming out with him, and someone's like, you know, hey, people are being injured, whatever. I don't fully understand how that would happen when he's performing anyways. Like, I feel like there should be footage, if that really happened, of someone coming out and telling him or something, you know. But also, like, he's performing, he's entertaining, he's doing something. Like, I feel like, again, like that person that's this filming camera person, they're locked in, you know. Imagine how locked in he is. He is entertaining for hundreds of thousands of people. Like, there needs to be something that changes the full thing, like music actually gets shut down, you know, like for him to make that call, I don't know, I can't put myself in that position.
I mean, that's the thing, we don't know what he knew, so we can't say, but I gotta say, it sounds to me like the infrastructure of his team around that festival was pretty weak. When you look at the first responders, like the emergency team, you know, the paramedics, like, they didn't have enough resources to actually help, like, the people, you know. And it seems to me like you've been doing this festival for a while, you know some of the shit that could happen. Like, you know, you have to think risk management. And if you're not the person, if you just want to be the artist, then you do have to take responsibility, at least for your team, and appoint someone to be across that, you know. And I don't know who that person is for him. The person who thinks, okay, so we're setting up a festival, what do we need? We need this amount of security, we need this amount of emergency, we need this amount of this. Well, like, if he has a person who does that, that person lost their job, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so many people that I just think it's beyond Travis Scott, you know? Like, did Travis Scott have anything to do with organizing, you know, like, the festival itself? It's like, to me, it's like, if someone, Coca-Cola gets spiked at a festival, is it Coca-Cola's fault? You know, like... It's a bad analogy, but all I'm trying to say is, like, there's a brand and then there's the actual thing that happened. And, like, again, like you said, like, there's been, I think that's probably the 4th Astroworld, 3rd or 4th. And I feel like to hear you didn't have enough emergency services, security, whatever, for this situation, no one's planning for 100... plus people getting fucking trampled, you know, and to have to take care of that many people, because that is like so much more additional cost that if that doesn't happen, we have the whole cities.
Yeah, but that's like the Titanic with not enough lifeboats and life jackets. Like, it could happen.
It could happen.
Especially in the nature of it, rage on. It's like, come on. I don't know. I personally, especially like you look at some of the ages of his fans. One of the kids that died was 10 years old. You know what I mean? Like 10-year-old kids.
You know, like, I just want to like bring a bit of reality in a manner of like, it's easy to project onto Travis Scott, but you know, for instance, I know you've done some risky things at your shows 100%. And at ones that aren't even at a venue. Where was your paramedic? What happened if it was...
Totally.
Like, I think it's bringing... Rather than everyone projecting onto Travis Scott, is also, like, the responsibility of all the other events people have been to and the shit that we put on. You know, like, I bury people alive and I don't have anyone around that knows how to do CPR, whatever. Like...
Are you sure you want to incriminate yourself like that? I mean, okay, there's a few factors here. I think... when you're playing at that level, it's high risk, high reward, right? That's why you play at that level, because you can fucking impact the world so incredibly, and you make a shit ton of money as well, and you have so much power and so much influence. And it doesn't matter how powerful you become or how influential you are or how much money you are still a fucking human being. That's the thing, you know, and I do think that everybody has to take responsibility, and responsibility is not the same as blame. I don't think it's like it's someone's fault. I don't think anyone ever intentionally, you know, nobody wants fucking people to die at their concert. No. I mean, unless he's Illuminati. Unless he's Illuminati and he's sacrificing
sacrifices.
I don't know, all right, I can't say. But at the same time, you know, and these are things that I think about for myself, you know, that's why I have public liability, and I have, you know... you try when you're crafting a show, and this is things that I teach the artists that I mentor. When you're crafting a show, you do have to think about the user experience. Like, you have to think about what is it going to be like for someone to come into my world, to come into this experience. What's going to happen when they get to the doors? What's going to happen when they come inside, when they're at the bar, blah, blah, blah. You know, you think about those things, and, you know, to a degree, as much as you can, you try to take responsibility for the experience that you're creating. You can't take responsibility for every single individual person, but you can take responsibility for the experience that you're intending to create for people. And yeah, like, I think that there is a problem in our society where we deify people. We turn them into gods. That is a fucking problem. And that is a symptom of disowned power and disowned divinity. You know, if you see someone who has power, has talent, has charisma, and you feel like just being in proximity with them is going to like give you some fucking high or whatever, to me, I don't know, maybe I'm just extremely narcissistic. I'm just like, I got my own power. I got my own divinity. Like, it would be cool to spend time with whoever, but I'm not going to put my health and safety at risk to do it. That's personally just how I think. But a lot of people and a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, especially in that in that genre of music.
Yeah, that's
you know?
like Travis Scott is one of the coolest things you can possibly be associated with, especially over there, especially in the hometown. Is like he is the hometown hero. He is the coolest shit ever. You know, like to be a part of the Travis Scott clique and to wear the clothes and to be a part of the It's Lit movement.
Yeah.
Like that is, you know, and we've got to put ourselves in the shoes of people that are 10 to 16 to 18, you know, like, you know, I come from a smaller town, so there was none of that where I was from. But like, you know, if I imagine back then Eminem came, I would be fucking losing my shit as a child, you know?
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's such a difficult thing because I think Shani posted something about, I think it was Shani. She had a really interesting perspective, and she said that she sees it as a symptom of dissociation. You know, that age group. With everything that's happened in the world in the last year as well, you spend all your time inside on screens, you become so disconnected from your body. You're so socially disconnected as well, you know, social distance, socially isolating. You forget what it feels like to be tuned into each other's nervous systems and to your own nervous system. You can't feel when there's like heightened, you know that bum rush to the stage. You can feel that when you're like connected to your body, right? You can feel like, oh shit, something is about to, you know, happen. Like you sense that on a primal level. But when you don't have that connection to your animal body anymore in that way, you're disconnected and you're just like smashing your body around because it's the first time you've been out in ages maybe, and you're like been waiting for this moment. You get totally overcome with this, you know, whatever it is, and then you can't feel your empathy. You can't feel like what it feels like to look out for the person next to you, you know, because you're so fucking blind with this celebrity, you know, glory. And I think that's a problem.
It is a problem. I just don't know what to do, you know, and I just like my empathy is definitely for the families and the friends and all that were involved, or just the people that were hurt, and then also for Travis Scott, you know, like just that, I just energetically how that would feel, you know, like that there is a feeling of like I'm responsible for all of this, you know, like I am Travis Scott, the brand, you know, beyond whatever his real name is. I don't know if it's Travis Scott or not, but like the brand that he represents and all that he's doing, you know, like that must be so hard to fucking go, to deal with that. Because I couldn't imagine it. He's just like, oh, that's not my fault, you know? Like, that would be fucking hard, you know?
Yeah.
And also that all that comes with that as well. Like the culture of his music, and, you know, it does sound a bit like unhuman, but he's still got a livelihood to make and go, oh, fuck, you know, I don't think this next single's going to work, and what am I going to do with my team? And, you know, like, I'm responsible for this. Can I continue to create? Who am I? Rah.
It's going to be very existential for him, for sure. He's going to question a lot or hopefully he does, you know, use it to ask all these important questions and reflect on who he wants to be in the world. And I mean, it's not easy. I think situations like this are part of the reason why a lot of artists don't allow themselves to become successful.
100%. Like
you don't want to be responsible.
People want to be big and influential and make their work go out to the world, but then what happens when you put yourself in a predicament like Travis Scott, or like, you know, when you're Ariana Grande and your stadium gets bombed and people die and stuff like this because of your magnet for crowds and attention, and you have mass influence, and, you know, like Marilyn Manson with the shootings and all these different artists,
or even just yourself being unsafe with stalkers and all sorts of things. It's like, crazy. Like,
you know, that recent thing, one of Eminem's fans like snuck into his house. He got home and someone was in there, you know, like, and he has maximum security, big fences, security 24/7, and someone still figured out how to get in there, whether it was true or not. But how fucking Kim Kardashian got
she got kidnapped. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Isn't that fucking wild?
That's the thing. It's so, because we want the good things. We don't want the bad things.
All that comes with it.
Yeah. And I often reflect on that, you know, because of course I've had delusions and of grandeur and grand illusions about who I was supposed to be in the world. I was supposed to be famous, blah, blah, blah. But then I think, did I actually have and do I actually have what it takes to play at that level, at that global level? You know, I get a few hurtful comments and I'm fucking off the radar for a couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what's, you know, I always question, like, around the work we do, like doing clearing and embodiment work and all this stuff. You know, so we can make more money, we can have more influence, we make more impact, help more people, live a better lifestyle, etc. And then I think about, you know, people that are just like Kurt Cobain or someone like that. It's like just a glorified junkie. I love Kurt Cobain, he's more than that. But like a glorified junkie that had a massive and like cultural reset of the world and is still idolized all the way up until now. What work did he do, you know, to get to that level? And I guess it's viewing. I do question it, and it always just comes back to like, yeah, cool, but integrity and ethics, you know, is so strong in us that the sabotaging parts is actually like...
It's ethics.
Yeah, you know,
100.
And, you know, like something... You know, recently I'm launching this course, and, you know, like... to get to the point of what I want to do with this course, I have to do so much clearing to actually get what I want out of it. And, you know, having to talk to different people, different mentors, doing different work, embodiment, shifting through so many things that are so uncomfortable for me to do this thing ethically, you know, and in one day I made more than more than half of what I made in a year last year, you know? And not only was the ability to clear through the things to get to that a lot of work, but then also when that happened, I was ruined. Like, it felt good for a bit, like the adrenaline, and then afterwards I was like, oh my God, I'm so depleted, you know, like just all that work. And, you know, it's only the start of selling this program, but just what it takes, you know. And that's why I feel like certain celebrities, you know, like Britney Spears, you know, the breakdowns and these things that happen is because there's no consciousness around what's happening. Yeah. You know, and then this is what happens.
No capacity to hold that level of attention from the world. That is terrifyingly vulnerable and risky and dangerous.
And then you have breakdowns, and then you get fucking enslaved by the government and by
and your dad.
You know,
it's wild. I know I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because it's so deeply uncomfortable and fucked up. And man, you know, in so many ways, I'm grateful for the life that I've lived and the perfection of it. You know, as much as I would have loved to, you know, for my music to be more well known, blah blah blah. Like, you know me, like, I fucking hate being so busy that I can't do what I want when I want. I hate it. As soon as I get a bit too busy, I just fucking sabotage everything. I'm like, nah, because I love being well rested, well fucked, well fed, like in the backyard, in the sun, go to the beach when I feel like it. That is my wealth. That is my treasure. Like, having lots of sex, having good food, having connection with my friends, to me, that is higher up on my list of values than being famous and rich. Yeah. And, you know, it's like, that might change in the future, but actually when I look at the truth of my life, it shows me that I want to be connected and nourished and relaxed more than I want to be successful and rich and, you know, and famous.
I want both.
Totally, you can have both. You can totally have both. I'm not saying that you can't. Yeah. I'm just saying, for me, there's still a level of contraction that happens in my body when I start feeling that my capacity is reaching its limit. Like because like, you know, if I run a program and I have to do, say, 12 hours worth of sessions, I can do that for a while. But then at some point, my body's like, like, is this getting like overload, like, and then I just start dropping shit, and I need like 3 months of doing nothing. I'm not saying that that's good. I'm just saying that's what happens to me. And I look at some of our peers who are, you know, making millions of dollars a year doing similar work to us. Fuck, they work hard. They fucking work so hard, and so much of their money doesn't go in their pocket. It goes to all their team and their staff and their systems and sustaining that.
But we also know people that make lots of money that don't do much, you know?
That's true.
Like one of our favourite listeners, won't say your name, g'day.
He who must never be named on this podcast.
They who must never be named. Yeah, like doesn't do much. Like in a matter of like working, you know, but makes lots of money, you know?
True. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, you know, it is possible. I mean, even for, I don't know, it's the magic of the work that we do. Every year that passes, I do less work and I make more money.
Yeah.
I do less and less and make more. So it's definitely there. And I think the subconscious beliefs are changing. But yeah, I don't enjoy being stressed. I don't enjoy it.
Does anyone?
Some people love it.
Some people it's an existential kink,
Some
you know,
people
like
thrive off that shit.
oh yeah, 100%.
They love it.
They live for it.
They live for it.
But they don't know that they're not like, yes, stress.
Yeah, no.
They're like the hustle, the grind.
Yeah, the
you
hustle,
know?
the grind.
And I still
busy.
have a lot of that in me, you know, like I love it, you know, and there's recent transmissions as I'm learning. I'm doing this business course and collaborating with certain people and different mentors and learning from them and just seeing the ways that they just work less, get paid more, you know? My money makes money. My ideas make money. Not me working makes me money, you know? Like...
Yeah, exchanging time and exchanging effort for money is not a sustainable way to create a living. It's not.
You know, it's fascinating, you know, us leaving that model of like time for money, but then someone yesterday, a coach of mine who is also of like previously given me advice around not like your time isn't money, you're not doing an hourly rate, then also gave me an hourly rate thing. It's like they asked, how much do you want to make a year? And I said $500,000 next year. And they said, how many hours do you want to work? And I said, I only want to work Tuesday to Thursday. And I want to work, I think it was 8 hours each day. So that's 24 hours in a week. And so timesing that by whatever it is to make it a whole year is like $400 and something an hour. Which really isn't that much. Like,
I mean, I charge $330 an hour.
Yep. So if I fill my calendar 3 days a week for 8 hours each day at $400 something,
yeah,
that's $500,000. It doesn't feel like that much, you know?
Totally, it doesn't. But you know, that's the delivery time, right? Then there's also promotion, setting things up, creating blah blah blah, all of that stuff, which takes time as well.
Yeah, well, it's like, you know, if I'm going to launch a program, it's like, it's not if I do one-on-one sessions or if I do a group session or whatever that I'm counting as that's the 1 hour work. It's all of it, you know?
Yeah, it's all of it. Yeah. I mean, you know, these numbers, I don't know, I'm becoming more and more detached from the numbers game, the numbers goal of like have X amount of numbers. Like it's good, I think, to have some clarity around targets and, you know, to quantify things, to understand well, actually, how much does my lifestyle cost? It's good to know that. But the more, for me anyway, the more I focus on, well, how do I want to feel and how do I want to live? That seems to, like I don't have yearly financial targets anymore. I don't have quarterly targets anymore. I just feel like I'm focusing on what services do I want to deliver to people? Like, how do I really want to help and serve people? How do I want to feel while I'm living my life and while I'm doing my work? And how, like, what's the exchange that feels correct and aligned for me? You know, because even that, like, you've got some people offering the exact same product, one person charging $5,000 for it, one person charging $50 for it. Yeah. So what are the ethics around that? You know, it's really difficult to say how to run your business, especially when we're like, you know, we're operating from a level where there's no dogma anymore. There's no rules that you have to follow. You literally can make this shit up as you go.
You make your own rules. There's no dogma. You know, that's an interesting thing around, you know, I'm learning again, and two of my coaches right now, mentors, like really drilling into me. It's like, just depends who you want to sell to, who you want to have in your thing. I got this thing here somewhere of like, so this is very coaching stuff, and they gave me the levels of consciousness of people that you want to sell to, you know? It's like level 1 consciousness of people that you want to sell to. They're reactive people. They desire to have a better body or better sex. If they don't have it, they won't be enough. They won't be enough. They want countdown timers. So it's like 2 spots left. And they're like, scarcity, you know?
Programming, yeah.
So that's like level, there's so many different terms. And then there's level 2, and it's like, looking for a return on their investment and status. They are drawn to blueprints and methodologies. They think in terms of safety. They are thinking, what is next, you know? So these are some of the examples of that. And then
hectic chart.
Level 3 is they are visionaries. They make decisions based on the ability to enroll them in a vision. They are not motivated by fear. They are motivated by creation.
Yeah, hectic.
So they value humility, and they will pay top dollar for education and exclusive trips. So it's like, it depends on who you want to sell to.
Totally.
And that's why it's like the $50 person is selling to level 1 consciousness people.
Yeah.
And the person that's charging $5,000 for the exact same thing is selling to level 3 people, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, again, how you're saying, how do you want to feel? I feel like it's marrying the both. It's like,
who do you want to work with?
Who I want to work with, how do I want to feel, and how much do I want to make, you know? Because if I want to make $500,000, you know, then if I'm going to sell to level 1 people, I'm going to have to do a lot of fucking hours, you know?
100%. Like, that's why for me, like I don't think that everything has to be inclusive. I don't think we always have to be inclusive. I think that's bullshit. I think we get to be exclusive. We get to know who we work best with, who we can actually genuinely help. If I try and help every person, like when I started out in this business, I was like, I don't want a niche. I want to work with everyone. And I quickly realized there are certain people that get really great results when I work with them, and certain people that don't get great results, and certain people that I enjoy and I'm really lit up with working with them, and certain people that I feel fucking drained. I feel awful working with them. And then, you know, you create a niche after that because you realize that certain things work and certain things don't. At the same time, I think, like, for me, what feels good is, creating lower tiered offerings so that people can still access the knowledge, the information. You know, you can listen to these podcasts, you can get this ebook, you can do this, you know, cheap course. It's still going to bring incredible value to your life. But in order to work one-on-one with me or to work closely with me, there is a certain investment and commitment that I will need from you, because I've tried to sell really valuable things for cheap because I thought I was being more ethical and inclusive, right? I was like, cool, I'll just charge this much and I'll work more. And what ends up happening is people drop off often. In my experience, people often drop off because it wasn't a significant commitment for them. They didn't really show a big commitment, and then they stepped in. They were like, "Oh, cool, I'll do it later" or whatever, and they don't show up for themselves. And then I also feel like, wow, I'm doing so much work and not really. I don't have enough to cover what I need, my expenses, and I'm in survival. And if I'm in survival and scarcity, that's the transmission that I'm passing on to my. No, I don't want that.
I don't want that. It's a lot to move through, and like, you know, that's some of the clearing shit I want to do, because to me, it's like, I want everyone to come with us, and like, I don't want everyone to be stuck in level 1, you know, like I was once that person and I'm moving through, you know, like I'm like somewhere between 2 and 3 at the moment, you know, and it's like, now I'm trying to sell to level 3 people, and it's working, but like, it's this whole journey, you know, and like I have to actually radiate the level 3 within me to actually get those people. And you know, part of the reframe I had, because I have different offerings that cater to different people and different financial amounts, different wealth of consciousness, and you know, around is really tapping into just selling to this current program to level 3 people is that. Or it's like high-end level 2 to level 3 people is like, they will pass that knowledge down to the level 1s or whatever it is, you know, is that it's the more awake anyone is, the more that feeds down when they do shares on their Instagram or their YouTube or podcasts or whatever, is like this more information out is just the most important part.
I hear that. Yeah. Man, look, this is a huge topic of discussion, and I've been on every side of that discussion so many times. I've defended people for charging their price, when a lot of like woke folks are coming at people, coaches who charge, like high-end coaches who charge, say, $20,000 a program, and they're getting attacked by people who are like, you shouldn't be charging that much, it's exclusive, you're racist, you're this, you're that, you're elitist. And it's like, yo, their work is not for everyone. If you can't afford it, go find a coach who charges what you can afford. That's what you can afford. There are so many fucking coaches, spiritual entrepreneurs, people who are teaching things. There's something for everyone out there, and then I've also been that, like criticizing person who's like, how can you charge that much money for, it's so exclusive, it's so elitist. I've been there too, and it's interesting to see both sides of the coin. And I think they both hold truth. The beautiful thing about this fucking world is you get to do whatever the fuck you want.
100%. Like that's very important to say, is like, I know people that do sessions for free to $50 who are good. And I know people that charge like $100,000 to join their program, and they sell that to 10 people, and that's $1 million. Like, and
hectic. Like,
it's really like, sometimes it's just the money, like alone. That's like, I spent $100,000. I'm going to get $100,000 worth out of this, or I didn't pay anything, so whatever, There's that, and there's something there for everyone. So if someone's like, you can't charge that much, it's like,
whatever, bro.
Whatever, like go talk to the person that's for free, or that's offering free sessions at the moment. They've just become a practitioner in that exact thing you want. That they're trying to do some trials and learn their modality, like if it's free massages or spiral sessions or whatever. Like there's a whole range of everything. It's just you're looking in one place and you have the most charge, and just your capacity or imagination can't hold that. And that still happens with me around certain people.
It's all comes back to self. What you believe, your beliefs, your viewpoint, your emotions, your triggers, all of that stuff. Like, it's so funny because today I sold another self-love program, the 14-day one. And it just happened by itself. I didn't do shit. I got, maybe a few days ago, I posted some stories and it's in my highlights. But that was like such an edge for me. I don't know if I spoke about it on this podcast. Maybe I have. But like getting to the point where I felt it was okay to receive money for not labor,
doing anything,
for not like, because I've done the work already, as in I've already created the content, I already shot all the videos, already created the templates, already automated it, like, so literally people click the button, they buy the thing, it gets delivered to their email, like I don't have to do any work. And to receive money for something that I'm not directly working on, there was a huge like a discomfort around that. It felt like cheating. It felt like I was ripping people off. I have this program, Bossing the Scene, that's also all automated. I never fucking sell it.
I never promote it.
I never promote it because it feels like cheating. If I'm not there busting my ass off, delivering, transmitting, fucking looking at you, making sure you're accountable, it feels like I'm cheating to receive money. But it's such a bullshit story because the value of what I've created is fucking epic. It's fucking hugely valuable. People need it, right? Man, it's a lot.
That was like with this Uncensor Me movement and people getting the tiles. I've just said, hey, like, make you one. Here's my PayPal. Just throw a donation in there because I am putting my energy into this or whatever. Some people put $5 in. Some people put $200 in, for something that takes 5-10 minutes max. 10 minutes, 5 minutes of work for $200. Okay. Like, just accept it, Is that, there's a certain part of me that's like, I've got to make something magical about their one that's more special than the $5 one, you know?
Yeah.
That's literally a donation. Like, they literally chose how much they want to pay, you know?
That's like, it's a similar concept to, say, tithing or taxes, right? So I grew up in my dad's church.
Just continue, I got to wait.
Cool. So the concept of tithing, for those of you out there who aren't Christian or aren't religious, tithing is where you give 10% of your income to the church. And that's the way that the church sustains itself, right? Because there's a lot of things that the church needs to do. So it needs money to run, and that money comes from its congregation in the form of tithing. And, you know, obviously the spiritual aspect of that is you sacrifice, 10% of your income, your earnings. It goes to God, and, you get blessed for that. So, there's also some fear tactics in there that if you don't tithe, then you'll be punished, blah, blah, blah. But I don't want to talk about that aspect. Tithing, if you earn $100,000, well, 10%, your tithe would be $10,000, right? If you earn $100, then your tithe would be $10. So it doesn't matter how much you earn, your 10% is going to, it's going to feel like the same amount of sacrifice because it's relative to what you're earning. And with taxes, that's why taxes are really interesting to me, because once you earn over a certain amount, you have to pay more taxes, right? The whole argument that, millionaires, billionaires should pay more taxes is a funny one to me, because people think that someone, say like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, people think that, if you're a billionaire, you have literally like $1 billion notes stacked up in some warehouse somewhere. That's not what a billionaire is. When we say billionaire, what we're talking about usually anyway is your net worth, like your assets, right? So you might have $1 billion, but that's not in currency in your bank. It's not like you have a bank account that says $1 billion. All of that numbers, that's all fucking bullshit. It's all made up numbers based on the perceived value that your businesses hold in the world. I'm talking about taxes and tithing. And so like we look at these billionaires and we're like, tax them more money. Like, yes, I believe that everyone should pay taxes as a contribution to society, but I think it's naive to think that a billionaire is this one person with billions of dollars. Like, the way that it tends to work is they have assets in their businesses, maybe in their properties or whatever, and they have a business that is worth whatever their number is, right? So it's not that they themselves are sitting there in a fucking boat full of money. It's like their business is worth that much, and that's why they're a billionaire. It's not liquid money that you can just use to, pay for everything. It's all smoke and mirrors. Yeah. It's all smoke and mirrors. All of this whole money game is smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, to me it ties in the same as what we're talking about with Travis Scott. It's like, yes, you could just blame Travis Scott for these deaths, unfortunate deaths, but Travis Scott, the name, is more than just that individual that sings songs, that did Sicko Mode. It's everyone at that festival. It's his PR agent, it's his label manager, it's his producer, it's his assistant, it's fucking, it's you that listens and wears the merch, know? Travis Scott is more than just, but he's the deified version of it, that's like how God is a man in the sky. It's like, no, God is also fucking this wood right here. It's my voice. It's this microphone. It's the air that we're breathing. It's everything. You can't, and that's why people are like, God, why are you doing this to me? It's like,
why are we doing this to us?
Why am I doing this to myself? Because you are God, and as I see you, like Jeffrey Bezos, is more than just this guy that hopped in a rocket and went to whatever. He's born in 1964.
Fuck. Yeah, I mean, man, like I do want, maybe we do a separate episode on money, because there's so much to unpack around money, and I feel like we've done pretty well today. But there's this belief that money is a finite resource. There's not like a finite amount of money. Do you know that like paper money is printed? In times of recession, even in COVID, like countries just decide we need more money, so they just print more fucking money. They just print it on fucking paper. And the money that's held in banks and stuff, all of that shit is based on faith.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, we're holding this amount of money for you. They're not holding it in a fucking vault.
Yeah.
It's just digits on a screen. If that bank crashes, your money's fucking gone. You know, so we have to understand that money is just a symbol of exchange. That's all it is. It's a resource and it's a currency because collectively, societally, we have agreed this holds value. All it is fucking pieces of paper, like little bits of coins. They're just symbols and it's just numbers. It's actually infinite.
Yeah,
so
infinite.
If you make more money, that doesn't mean that you then cause a starving child in Africa to have less money. It doesn't work like that. It's very naive to think that if you make more money, then you're taking away from someone else.
Yeah.
Unless you fucking go to their house and you rob
them yourself.
It's not, it doesn't work like that.
Well, you know, it just goes to show time and time again, you know, like money was once bricks of gold, you know, and then coins and then cash and then
cards.
Then cards and numbers in a app, and then now it's crypto, you know, and who the fuck knows what happens next. It's like, you know, you could print all the money in the world, but maybe eventually that money will be worth nothing, you know?
Well, that's what happens in countries.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, Indonesian rupiah, it was about 2,000 rupiah equals $1 Australian dollar. That was about the measure. Now it's like 10,000 rupiah is equal to $1.
Yeah.
And it's just going to keep, it's like because
things
of
fluctuate and the economy is
totally. And yes, capitalism does create really heinous problems in the world, but money is not the problem. Capitalism is not money. Capitalism is the system, and particularly a system of inequality oftentimes that is really fucking devious, you know, where certain countries bully other countries and steal their resources. Like that's a real thing. But in terms of money as a resource, like you can make it, you can create it, you can hold it, you can charge your price. It's okay to do that.
Yeah.
You are not a fucking, you know, satanic fucking sacrificing children and wherever the fuck, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you know, like as much as we talk about it and we understand the concept of money, there's also parts of us that are very here stuck in scarcity and whatnot, you know, like
it's conditioning.
Like, why aren't I a millionaire then if I just believe all of this, you know? And I do believe in my life that I will be a millionaire. I don't think I'm far away from it, but at this moment, that's not what I am, you know, at all. And yeah, I understand that it's a belief system, but still part of me believes it, you know, to certain extents. And that's what I'm continuously pulling apart. And I think talking about it really helps, like continuing to bring this up, bringing it up in a podcast, talking about it among friends, hanging around friends that make more money than me, getting the codes from them, also hanging around with friends that are way more further down in the like belief systems of, oh, I have to work this much or whatever. Also goes, oh yeah, verifies in me, okay, you know, I am on a path. And the advice I want to give them also comes back to myself. And, you know, we see it, like, I'm comfortable saying certain names of, because this is what they do for work. You know, it's like Dane Thomas is a wealth wizard, and our other friend Leah Steele is a wealth witch. You know, they're the wizard and witch of wealth that we know, and we continuously see them. Like I remember years ago seeing like Leah's first $100,000 like 6-figure launch, you know, and I've not seen any statuses, but you know, I imagine she's doing a whole lot more than a 6-figure launch these days.
She's doing some good 7 figures.
She's doing some good second figures.
7 figures.
And it's because every day, you know, she's doing clearing around it. She's getting on and like giving these transmissions to people about wealth and fucking changing that frequency, which therefore is doing within herself. And she's programming that.
Totally. She's rewriting her inner code for sure. And, you know, I think the thing is this. I think like a big key is don't use other people's lives to predict how you're going to turn out if you achieve your dreams. Do you know what I mean? Like if you see people who are rich and have lots of money and they're selfish and they're greedy and they don't care about, you know, other people and whatever, and so you think, I can't be rich because then I'll be like them. Like that is not a workable formula, because you are you. You are you, and really all you have to worry about is, am I living true to my own values? Am I honoring the dreams that are actually fucking sacred to me?
Yeah.
Your dreams are sacred.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just like, you can't have a dream, a vision for your life that, I'm going to get all like fucking religious here, but like if you have a dream that's meaningful for you, a vision that you've seen in your mind's eye from when you were a kid of how your life was going to turn out, and you just give that up because you think, oh no, I don't want to be a greedy capitalist. It's like, how can you betray yourself like that? This is a God-given vision that you have received. Like for me, you need to stay true to your own vision and your own values and know that your path is unique. It's unlike anybody else's. If you fucking generate millions of dollars and then you start living like a shit cunt and leaving your rubbish everywhere and like, you know, being unethical, it's got nothing to do with the money. That's you. You are a fucking shit cunt. If you believe in your heart that you are a good and ethical person, then no amount of money is going to change who you are at your core. And if the money changes you, it wasn't the money.
It wasn't the money. It was you. 100%, you know, and like I love the new paradigm of wealth where there is that projection of this person is that, you know, there's the societal projection of capitalism, money makes you bad person, blah. But just the more I get to meet more people that are rich or wealthy or abundant, whatever you want to word you use, is like in my circles, they're quite giving with their like, to me, they're like, they could give me money, you know, great. If they gave me $100,000, that would be great. But what's more valuable is their knowledge, you know, when they're like, hey Paisley, you need to do this, I see this for you, this needs to change, blah blah blah. Like that makes me have the foundation to hold that money. $100,000 will just fall through my fingers, you know. At the moment they give me $1 million, you just spend it. I'd spend it, I wouldn't even notice. Oh, where did that go? You know, I've done it time and time again. I've made lots of money, but the foundation hasn't been right. And I'm like, where did all that money go? Oh fuck, I just spent fucking $10,000 in a week. Where did that go? You know, like that was once a lot of money for me. That is still like, if I just have $10,000 just come at me, I'm like, fuck, that's a decent amount of money. But I can spend that in a week sometimes and be like, where did that go?
Totally. Well, because if your level of consciousness around your money, your income, or there's a key word here that I actually haven't mentioned yet, but it's called havingness, right? And this is a Scientology concept that I learned ages ago. Havingness is how much you let yourself have. Right? Your havingness level. It's like, maybe you can think of it in spiritual terms like abundance, but it's different. It's like how much you allow yourself to really fucking have without sabotaging, without pushing away, it's just like, I can have this, right? Your havingness level. And if you receive something that you don't have the havingness for, you'll just fucking lose it. You will literally destroy it, you'll sabotage it, you'll give it away, you'll waste it because you can't have it. It's not just around money, relationships. Like it happens to me all the time. I meet a guy, they say they want this thing with me. And then it happens and they can't have it. They can't have it. And they'll just literally destroy the whole thing, sabotage it, wig out, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And so I remember in times where I've been super fucking broke and I'm looking around at my successful rich friends and I'm like, why can't you just give me money? Why can't you just pay for my album? Why can't you just do this? And, you know, if they had done that, I would have just fucking blown it and not known how to multiply it, how to appreciate it, because my level of consciousness and my level of havingness is not congruent with holding money and having money. So, you know, and like when I am abundant and even when I'm not abundant, like I like to give, you know, I'm a super generous person. If I see someone in my circle struggling, I'll just slip them money in their PayPal. It's like, hey, what's your PayPal? I'll just send them money. I do that shit a lot. But when I do it, I have to make sure that like I know this person is where they're at. Like this is a temporary fix. And I always let them know, hey, if you feel like you need support in actually getting out of this thing, then speak to me, because I would much rather help, you know, like teach it for, what is it? Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man to fish, he fishes for a lifetime. Like that's just true. We actually need, like, true generosity is education.
You know, and there's also that part, if you're deeply in scarcity, you need the fish before you get taught to.
That's true.
Get taught to fish, you know, because you can't even concentrate on how to fish, you know.
Totally.
You're just like, I need fish. I need a few fish before you can teach me anything. Because if I'm so deeply in scarce, I'm so hungry right now.
Totally.
That anything you tell me, I'm just like food, whatever, you know. Like,
again, nervous system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's also why people get trapped in cycles of poverty, generational poverty, right? Because if your parents were poor, their parents were poor, their fucking grandparents were poor, like, and you've lived all your life poor, it's very, very difficult to think the way an entrepreneur thinks or the way a millionaire thinks. How the fuck can you think like that when your whole generational programming and conditioning is poverty? It's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. But if you want to break free, it is your responsibility because no one can do it for you. Jeff Bezos, fucking Elon Musk are not going to come and be Jesus with the loaves of bread and feed the whole world. It's not going to fucking happen. So, you know, I think this lifetime for a lot of us in the Western world, you know, because this podcast isn't for like starving children in India. No. It's not. They're not going to listen to this podcast, right? This podcast is for relatively fucking privileged people like us who live in, you know, Australia, maybe some people in the States, maybe people in the UK. If you're listening to this podcast and you have the fucking time to waste an hour listening to this podcast, then you are in a position to change your stories around wealth, around your havingness, around what kind of life you can create for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this podcast is based around like teach a man to fish. You know, it's like we're giving you the transmissions of we're talking about things we know and also things that are alive in our world. And a lot of it is based around integrity, relationships, you know, like taking self-responsibility and really giving the pieces and affirming it for ourselves and unpacking it for ourselves, you know, like we've talked about Astroworld in passing in the house, but it's like, cool, we're coming here for an hour to like unpack this thing, and we have light talks around wealth and whatnot at dinner, and again, passing the house, you know, you're out there naked, I'm sunbathing, I'm having a smoothie, it's like, hey, I just made this money, I'm aiming for this, yeah, actually, I'm thinking about offering this, cool, all right, bye, you know, but we come here to, this is the point here, is like... This
is us giving you money.
Yeah, exactly. Giving you money, relationships, art, whatever it is it's a permission cast. We're permissionists.
We're permissionists. Oh, that's a nice fucking... if there was a cult that I would join, it's the permissionists, for sure. Oh, man, like, I feel like we've done a good hour.
Yeah, we've done an hour, and the thing that we had to do afterwards has...
Started.
No, has gone, I can't do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Fezzies. All right, cool. Well, let's continue since we're on a fucking
roll.
roll.
One thing that I wanted to question was around havingness with Scientology and that teaching is, does that mean they do be do have the other way around?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Well, because be do have is like, who have you got to be, then what have you got to do, then what do you get to have from it?
Well, it's not linear. Like, it's not like... the way that I understand be do have, it's not like linear in time. It's not like this happens, then this happens, then this happens. It's like simultaneous. But if you are truly inhabiting a beingness, like if you're really being something, then you will have the havingness of that person.
Yeah.
It's like, it should be simultaneous, right?
Yeah.
Because if you think, say for example, right, like if you think you're a millionaire, but you don't have $1 million, doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
You're not really a fucking millionaire. If you're not doing the things that a millionaire does, then you're lying about your beingness. So like be do have, it's like, to me anyway, it's like if you have the havingness of something, then you can be it. You are being it.
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. I don't see it as like you do this, then you do this, then you do this. Like, yes, it can manifest like that, but really all of those stages be do have is it's really, they're like different like facets of the same diamond, if you will.
I've always seen it as like a domino effect. It's like you can't, it's like as if they'll only push one way. It's like you can't go, I want to be a rapper, buy a gold chain, I have a gold chain, I'm a successful rapper. But if you're like, I'm being the person that goes to the studio, plans out their songs, markets it at the right time, as soon as I inhabit that being, the do and have follows like right away, you know?
Totally. But it's like, why does it happen, right? It's because when you assume the beingness of the rapper or whatever it is, you decided, I can have this. So it's like it happens on like this, I don't know, like on an intrinsic level where it's like, I can have this, therefore I'm willing to be it. Or I can be this, therefore I'm willing to have it. That makes sense?
Yeah, I guess I've seen it as like, I can be the person that can have it.
Yeah, so havingness is not the same as I have it.
Yeah.
It's like havingness is about, maybe it's like capacity, something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, because it also, I mean, obviously this is just me verbally explaining the concept to you. If you want to know more about it, you can, you know, have a look at some Scientology resources. I'll read you some, maybe I'll find a book later, get your definition. But essentially havingness, the way I understand it, is like, you can have it like, you're okay with it being there as well. So like the birds that I can see out the window right now, they're part of my havingness. I can have that they're there.
Yeah.
If that, I don't know if this is landing, but it's like, if I couldn't have that they were there, like it would make me uncomfortable. Maybe I'd feel antsy. Maybe I wouldn't want to be here because I can't have that they're there, right?
Or it's also like, I'm hearing it as like presence, you know? It's like, go out into nature, take a breath, look around, what's there, you know? And you only get to have what you're aware of. Does that make sense? Like, because if you weren't in a deep level of awareness, of havingness, of taking up space, is like, you probably just be here with me only, which is a level of presence, but it's like, can you expand?
Totally.
You can be fully present with the person in front of you and be aware of your surroundings, you know? And it's like tunnel vision versus like whole capacity of having everything, you know, rather than, you know, going back to the rapper, is like, a rapper only has a gold chain, you know, like that's when you look at 50 Cent on the TV, is like, you just see the gold chain, but you're not seeing like, also this whole video came together, he wrote this song, he has a brand, he's always wearing this New York hat, he has a bulletproof vest, you know, like all these things, is the havingness to have the capacity to see all the picture rather than tunnel vision on the one thing.
Totally, yeah. Like if you say you decide, I'm going to be a rapper, and I'm going to step into this identity. And you know what? I'm going to buy myself a gold chain. If you put that gold chain on and you really like assume the identity, like the beingness, and you really fucking decide, I am a rapper, I can have all the things that a rapper has, and if you really fucking can do it, this mystical process of expanding your havingness to have everything that a rapper has, on 100% life will conform to that truth. 100%.
It's like it's a ritual of things, like people that's like, if I get married, I'm gonna live happily ever after, you know. Some people can really get that code in them, and some it's just
because they don't have the havingness of it. Like that's another thing, like on happiness, right? People think, oh, when this happens, I'll be happy. When you know, I've spoken about that. Like when I was in that relationship, oh, when this happens, then I'll be happy because I'll be living the truth of who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
But actually, the reason why I couldn't have any of that is because I didn't have the havingness of being happy.
Yeah.
And now that I've given myself permission, I'm like, actually, you know what? I can fucking be happy no matter what, who I'm with, who I'm fucking, who I'm not fucking, who I'm married to, I'm not married to. Like, none of that shit has anything to do with my happiness. My happiness is self-generated, you know, and that is a different kind of havingness. I think it's a havingness that most people in this world don't have.
Yeah, with our spiral reframes level 4 love, it says, how's your life going to be different when you realize that you do love yourself? I always change it to, how's your life going to be different when you realize you always have loved yourself? You know, that it's rather that putting that piece in is like, you know, you're here because you love yourself to an extent, you know, and it's like, you were always happy. You just didn't choose to have it, you know, like
to let yourself have it. Totally. Definitely. You know, another variation of that is, you know, what's going to change when you realize you are love? Love is all there fucking is. It becomes so immediate and so close to you. You can't get away from it. You can never escape it. It's the fabric of the fucking universe. You know, you are never out of love. In the same way that we are never out of relationship.
Yeah.
It's an illusion to say that you've broken up with someone or your friend's not. Like, that is the ego illusion, surface level thing. But we are all in relationship to everything because everything is interconnected. Science has proven this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like, for certain people who go listening and being like, you know, what if I'm, you know, I can't even wake up today. I'm in bed listening, you know, it's like, you love being in bed, you know, you love being sad, you love
it,
just love it, you know, like it's the existential kink we've talked about on here before, is like, you love being lazy today, you love
100%
like not caring anymore,
there's no shame in it.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Or there's only shame because you choose it.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, like, when you are at that level, when you're playing at that level of total cause, like of total taking responsibility for your life, you don't need to be ashamed of anything because you're choosing it.
Yeah.
You're choosing, and it's okay. There are no rules. God's not going to punish you if you waste your life. God's not going to send you to hell if you don't, you know, do X, Y, Z. Literally, like, it's literally your choice, what you want to do, you know, and that's the liberating and terrifying thing when you realize that no one is going to hold you accountable. It's your job. It's fucking scary.
Yeah.
No one's going to come up to me and hand me a record deal and be like, Alpha, we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that for you. It's like, if I choose to lay out in the backyard all my life and sunbake in the balcony and cry over boys, that's my choice.
Yeah.
You know, I chose that.
Yeah. I don't know where to go from there.
No, I love this conversation. It's fucking lighting me up. Having said that, someone slid into my DMs today because I had a rant on my Instagram stories. My fire's coming back. Had a bit of a rant.
I see you ranting about the Western
medicine and the way it's let down, you know, women and their bodies. And somebody sent me a message and said, just curious to know what you think people with chronic illness should do. Because that's been one of the points of contention. People think that I'm ableist when I try to promote healthy living and when I try to get people to take responsibility for creating their lives and their wellness and their vitality, and people think that I'm ableist because what about chronically ill people?
I have a perfect answer.
Yeah, listen to your podcast.
Tune into my podcast, Curious Conversations, where I get 3 chronically ill and disabled people to come talking about their journey between Western and Eastern medicine.
Amazing. Fuck yeah. Go and listen to that.
Yeah. And obviously that's just 3 people's experiences, but it just is a possibility out there, and they talk about the choices that they've had to make.
Yes. Yeah, and my answer to this person was, well, I can't speak for anybody else. What do you think chronically ill people should do? And then they gave me this whole spiel, not answering the question, but telling me what they assumed I was thinking. So they were like, oh, well, you know, it sounds like from what you're saying, you know, you're saying that people shouldn't be vaccinated, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, thanks for sharing your beliefs with me. That was my answer. Because coming back around to Astroworld, right, coming back around to Travis Scott, you know, you and I are 2 people who hold a platform, right? As soon as you stand up on this platform, already people look at you in a different way.
Yeah.
You know, having influence dehumanizes you. And we're only like micro level influencers. We're like fucking G grade celebrities, you know? Not B, not C, not D.
Gangster celebrities.
Yes.
Motherfucking gangsters.
You love that. Yeah, right? We're like, you know, way down the alphabet level celebrities. And already we get stripped of our humanity every day in the way that people respond to us and think, Alpha, you shouldn't say that because you hold a position of power. You should say this. Well, that's your agenda. That's what you want to do. Go fucking create a platform and say what you want to say.
Did you see the one that I got today?
Oh, yeah, you need to read that. That's fucking hilarious.
Someone inboxed me, said a whole bunch of shit, and they shared... Let me just pull it up. It was funny.
Yeah, you need to pull it up because that was wild.
First of all, they shared a post of mine. They said, bro, I'm not really understanding where this is going. We are the main contributors on this platform, because I'm talking about Instagram, how we sort of prostitute ourselves out and like, yeah, we do contribute all the content to this platform, but we don't own it.
Yeah.
And for instance, Instagram, Zuckerberg sells our stuff and makes money off it, like sells our information. And then he says, you talk like a manic as fuck, you're dressed like a bisexual LARPer.
What is a LARPer?
It's like people that like role playing. Like it's like World of Warcraft or like Knights and Vikings and stuff like that. It's like people that do like role playing kind of experiences. And you seem kind of lost between worlds with your occult tattoos and pearl necklace. My favorite part at the bottom is, please explain. All right, Pauline Hanson.
I don't like it when you wear your pearls. I don't
like it. And then they continued to inbox me and said, and what's this theatrical bullshit, dressing up like a dark lord and burying cunts by the ocean?
Who is this person?
Seriously, bro, don't fuck with the dark arts if you're a LARPer. What you're doing is theatre. They're really upset with theatre.
Yeah.
Period. Keep it on the football field with your World of Warcraft mates.
Oh my god.
And then wrote, are you a pretty girl, a dark lord, a confused boy, or a LARPer? I'm like, I'm all of those.
All of the above. D. All of the above.
All of the above. Yo. I'm a shapeshifter. I am everything that you say I am. I am whatever you say I am.
Well, you know what I wrote? If
Yeah.
I wasn't what?
Why would I say I am? It's an Eminem song.
Oh, I don't know it. Sorry. Damn it.
You don't know that song? I am whatever you say I am. If I wasn't, then why would I say I am?
No.
Oh, come on,
Sorry.
bro.
I'm not a real fan. I'm not a stan.
Oh, hey.
Well, yeah, my stories, after my long rant, I just wrote this. I think it would be, beneficial. Guess what? You are entitled to your own limiting beliefs and confining identities. Just don't try and enforce them on me. What you see is what you are. Mic drop, bitch.
Buzz.
Digital mic drop. Buzz,
Cynthia, you're dead.
Yes, 22 Jump Street. I feel like we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
That was a fucking sick episode. Again, yeah, go for it. You were going.
I was about to say yes. This is it. Yeah, we should wrap it up.
I was just going to say, if you're loving these episodes, because I get a lot of DMs from people saying, I'm listening to this thing while I do, I'm laughing my head off, this is great. Make sure you keep sharing with us what you love, what you needed from this today, and, tell your friends. Paisley also has his own podcast series called Curious Conversations. If you haven't gotten on that, definitely check it out. It's a lot more, I would say it's a lot more like informative and a lot more actually like supreme value in terms of people's contributions and their voices. A lot of really knowledgeable, epic people on that podcast.
Essentially, it's just me extracting information from experts and then bastardizing it on this podcast, pretending like this is all my knowledge that I just magically brought up on my own. But no, actually, the people that I learn from are on my Curious Conversations that I interview, and there's lots of different topics, ones that we constantly go over here. So do go back and check that out.
Definitely check them out. And look out, I'm starting my own podcast. It's going to drop in a couple of months. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be very fucking juicy, potent, exciting. I get to talk all by myself. So, I love that shit. So I'm
no having to pretend to care what I'm saying, like we've seen in episode 17, the mushroom episode, that Alpha Mama doesn't really care what I'm saying.
Yeah, but neither do you. You don't care about what I'm saying.
So if you didn't care about what we're saying, please tell us. No, but continue to share, continue to tell more people. I'm loving the organic promotion of this, and the different people are hitting up saying, hey, Jess showed us this. Hey, Stephen showed us your podcast. Thank you for talking about all these things. If you can put that to your stories, if you can tell someone in real life, that would be super epic.
Yeah.
Let it be your dinner table music. Just us talking shit.
100%. And I think the essence, what we've seen time and time again of all of our episodes, the essence of what we really want to give you is permission.
Yeah.
Permission to live your life the way you truly, truly want to live it. That's it.
All right. Love you all. Bye.
Peace.